Several sex workers have come forward revealing they're paid thousands for late-night rendezvous with Republican members of Congress, or Hill staffers who publicly condemn the LGBTQ+ community. One trans woman, a curvy blonde who charges $1,000 an hour and has tens of thousands of followers on X and OnlyFans, shared that these politicians demonize people like her openly, but secretly use their services behind closed doors. She insists this story needs to be told, and I'm here to tell it. Another gay sex worker told the Daily Mail about his 2-year relationship with a Midwestern congressman who's publicly engaged to a woman and has had several serious girlfriends. He said, "It's hard to ignore the dissonance between the man I know privately and the votes he casts publicly." He described how this closeted congressman paid for the full boyfriend experience. Candlelit dinners, intimate talks, and yes, sex. This glaring hypocrisy highlights the deep disconnect between their private lives and public stances, whether it's evangelical shame, fanaticism, or refusal to seek therapy, which I highly recommend for these MAGA politicians. They're projecting their dysfunction onto those who live openly, like Pete Buttigieg. Meanwhile, Republicans focus on kicking trans people out of the military or obsessing over a handful of trans athletes, ignoring the nearly 50,000 gun deaths annually, or the millions losing health care access, including Medicare, despite Trump's promise to protect it. At the same time, they're too busy attacking drag queens and rainbow crosswalks, all while dialing up trans sex workers for late-night hookups. Recently, Laura Loomer, a notorious conspiracy theorist, outed Senator Lindsey Graham in court, claiming several people in Republican circles have seen him bring male partners to dinners. Not exactly breaking news. Graham's closet status is well known, and many wish he'd just come out. Then there's Mike Moses Johnson, whose complicated living situation in D.C. includes sharing a place with an evangelical preacher who's anti-gay. Wink, wink. And a third male roommate. Jennifer Welch from the I've Had It podcast has some sharp takes on this hypocrisy. By day, these men preach moral superiority and condemn LGBTQ+ people, and by night, live very different lives behind closed doors. Statistics tell us if Grindr crashed twice during the RNC, there were plenty of DLGBTQ+ folks in attendance. No judgment here. Whether you're a top or a bottom, that's your business. But if these politicians want to interfere in everyone else's private lives, then yes, I want to know. Mike Johnson, are you a power bottom? What's going on with your roommates in D.C.? Rumor has it one answers the door in panties. Classic. To Mike and others like him, you can still love Jesus and be who you are. Jesus doesn't hate gay people. We on the left don't care about your orientation or preferences, as long as you're an adult, consenting and not involving kids or animals. Live your truth. But MAGA won't stop obsessing over LGBTQ+ people while simultaneously hiding their own truths. Their rhetoric and laws hurt marginalized groups, and their hypocrisy is disgusting to me and my friends on the I've Had It podcast. We'll keep calling out their lies and cover-ups. MAGA is the cult of the cover-up. Epstein much? That's all for now. Stay fierce, and peace out. I'm not sure how many of you remember, or were even aware, but during the 2024 Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, the hookup app, Grindr, which is primarily used by gay men, actually crashed, and not just once. Grindr crashed twice during the RNC. Hi, I'm Siri Crow, and you're watching the Whitest Touch Network. What makes this incident even more interesting is the timing and context. The MAGA Republican Party has been busy erasing symbols of LGBTQ+ pride, painting over rainbow crosswalks, kicking transgender service members out of the military, banning rainbow flags, and losing their minds over drag queen story hours. None of these events, by the way, have ever been linked to any child abuse cases. But Grindr crashing not once but twice during the RNC? That's something. Many of the app users who were active during the convention appeared to be anonymous. New arrivals in town who preferred to keep their identities under wraps. You feel me? Jennifer Welch, also known as the fiery Miss Welsh from the podcast I've Had It, which I highly recommend, by the way, pointed out that this story wasn't getting the coverage it deserved. So, challenge accepted, Jen. I'm here to cover it. Honestly, I've had it. I've had it with the fact that Grindr crashed twice during the mega Donald Trump convention. And yet this isn't headline news. It should be. It should be the top story every day. Because I think it reveals something fundamental about what's going on in this country right now. If you ask MAGA folks what the problem is, they'll say it's the LGBTQ+ community, the pride flags, and the way these things are being forced on everyone. That's their legitimate concern, people being who they are and expressing their identities. But I think it's deeper than that. I think the real issue is the so-called DL-LGBTQ+ community, the down-low LGBTQ+ folks. And guess what? Many of these are the very MAGA politicians themselves. Let me explain. If I knew nothing about America or Donald Trump and came here from another planet, watching him on stage, I might think he's an out-of-the-closet bisexual. The way he talks about men, the way he acts, the way he admires good-looking guys at his rallies. He's drooling over them, practically a size queen. Then you see his supporters, so obsessed with Trump that it seems like they're trying to Photoshop a version of him that fits their fantasies. It's almost pornographic. Then there's Mike Moses Johnson, totally a queen, 100% DL-LGBTQ. Josh Hawley, also DL-LGBTQ, Ted Cruz. There's definitely something there that doesn't quite align with the image they try to project. Whatever it is, it's definitely not something Jesus would approve of. It's honestly hilarious, but Fox News is obsessed with masculinity issues. They don't actually cover real news. They focus nonstop on trans athletes, rainbow crosswalks, flags, and drag queens. Jesse Waters is fixated on these topics, often referring to Trump as Daddy and talking about spanking him. Now they're worried about Daddy's mood swings and who he's going to negotiate with. The whole thing is surreal. Trump himself? He's politically jacked, golfs a lot, and has that so-called dad strength. You know that kind of strength. Like when your dad grabs you, and you realize he's stronger than you. That doesn't mean you have a crush on him. It just means you respect the acting. Real men don't brag about how masculine they are or how tough they can be. They don't wave with both hands at once, don't wish other men happy birthdays, and definitely don't lean into their spouses like Barack Obama does with Michelle. Men don't grocery shop with their wives either. Yet here we are. Side note. In gay culture, daddies are older benefactors. So it's interesting that Jesse Waters is so obsessed with calling Trump Daddy. If I were betting, I'd say Jesse is dying to come out. And this obsession isn't limited to Waters. Former Fox star Tucker Carlson has been going off about Pete Buttigieg, questioning his sexuality, and even saying he wants to ask Buttigieg very specific questions about gay sex. Something you wouldn't hear on mainstream networks like MSNBC. It's telling how much these MAGA folks fixate on who's gay, who's straight, and the whole narrative of us versus them. They accuse straight men of being gay and gay men of being straight, all while preaching against it, passing laws, and generally being obsessed. As I always say, every accusation is a confession. MAGA is basically a cult of the cover-up. Even the Daily Mail, not exactly known for journalistic integrity, recently ran stories exposing top DC Republicans living double lives, including secretive sex workers, many of whom are transgender. So, yeah, Grindr crashing twice at the RNC is more than just a funny tech glitch. It's a window into the contradictions and hypocrisies at the heart of today's political culture.